When picking a fighting game character, usually there is some aspect that attracts them to us, such as attacks, speed, or health. However, there's also something usually about the character's appearance. One factor that could give you an advantage in the fight is making your opponent feel like they are fighting in the uncanny valley. Sure, after a certain amount of time you may become jaded to a character's appearance, but when you first see these characters, maybe you'll stay away from them, or maybe that's the appeal. Playing as these questionable looking folks may be fun since they generally have some surprises, much to the dismay of their opponents, and one may find these characters creepy before we even learn about their past, whether it be dark or completely normal, since it's rude to judge a book by its cover. Would she judge you? Maybe. So let's go over the top 10 creepiest characters in fighting games. Number 10. Zappa from Guilty Gear. Well, I don't see what's so creepy about this guy. He's got a heart on his outfit, and we all know the heart is a sign of oh well oh my. The thing is, Zappa is actually a nice guy. He's just possessed by a vengeful spirit named Esco. She's the one calling for all this distortion of his body. Unfortunately for Zappa, he has no idea this is happening. All Zappa wants to do is find his future wife. The problem is, the ladies do not like it when you are possessed by multiple spirits. It's also possible when he's flirting with some nice woman, Esco leeches onto Zappa, leading her to believe Zappa is in a relationship and she's not interested in a taken man, in both the sense of a loving relationship and just the fact that his body houses a bunch of ghosts. Number 9. Shadow Labrys from Persona 4 Arena. Shadow versions of characters have always been a part of the Persona series in the past, so having the antagonistic versions of the main characters is not a new concept. But when Persona 4 Arena first came out, the only playable Shadow character was for the new character Labrys. We saw the Shadow versions of other characters in the game's story mode and eventually in the next edition Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, but Shadow Labrys gets the honor of being the first playable Shadow character in a Persona fighting game. She also gets the honor of being the creepiest playable character in a Persona fighting game. Besides the fact that her persona looks significantly less benevolent than the other characters' personas in the game, it drags you into some sort of dark abyss, and when Shadow Labrys summons it to do so, she gives you this look that really hammers in the point that she should be considered for this list. And the icing on the creepy cupcake is that when you reach her at the end of the arcade mode as a final boss, her stage greets you with this: a room full of robot corpses. I know they're robots, so it could be considerably more disturbing, but why does she have to look so innocent when you don't look into her eyes? I mean, one second she's standing there casually with her hell demon, and then the next she makes the room feel like death. Number 8. Iron Horse, Iron Terror from Darkstalkers 3. Not every creepy character has to be playable or even a fighter. Here we have a full stage that just happens to be animate. Who doesn't love a train ride? Maybe if the train was not alive. But in the world of Darkstalkers, there are plenty of horror elements, usually in the feelings of the stages along with the themes of the characters. But this stage is living, or so it seems. Listen, I don't know the layout of the respiratory system for this train that is apparently alive. The scattered facial features could just be for show, but the couple of mouths are moving pretty healthily, so let's assume it's alive. No one actually knows what makes this train tick, though. One could only imagine how these characters keep concentration while fighting with this mouth constantly twitching next to them, especially since this train has an eye, always open, always watching. Maybe it's safer since the eye is always watching on what's ahead of it, rather than watching the exciting fight. Number 7. Kusarigeta Yukai from the Samurai Showdown series. This character is a disaster both in the looks department and everything else design-wise. He creates something quite disturbing. His design combines the appearances of two other characters from the series absent from Yukai's premiere game Samurai Showdown 5. These characters were Earthquake and Ganon Shiranui. However, those characters, while not the most forthcoming guys, have some charm and even have some joke attributes and families. This guy, though, has no redeeming qualities. Sure, he used to be a normal person with a daughter, but now he's just this monster that has bones sticking out of everywhere and an arm blade? Who do you think you are? A beloved Mortal Kombat character? He also took a page from Dr. Chigaki's book with that hairstyle, and since that guy was creepy as well, I trust Yukai even less now. Not to mention he has this kind of tongue, and we all know every character with this tongue can be at least a bit creepy. Maybe his arcade mode ending can salvage him though. He's about to eat some person, but his daughter tries to restore his humanity. Maybe he'll remember who he is and redeem this abomination of a can. No, he doesn't. Number 6. Arakune from BlazBlue. Arakune was a human that tried to study the boundary where all the different timelines in the series intertwine. By stepping into this area, his body basically liquefied, turning into this black goo, allowing him to transform into anything his heart desires, if he still has a heart. If that wasn't enough, his body now houses a colony of insects. Want to know how? Well, don't ask Arakune, since the distortion of his body has also made his voice indistinguishable. However, this garbled noise is not always him trying to speak. Sometimes, it's just the malicious laughter of a man who has lost all knowledge of his past, and has no intent of regaining his former life. Number 5. Q from Street Fighter. Who is this masked man? Is he a man? Is Q human? All he does is grunt when he attacks, so there's no getting an answer from him. What we do know about him is that he's appeared at numerous crime scenes at different times in the game. This brings up the question, what is he doing there? What could he be hiding under that trench coat, behind that mask with those glowing eyes? And was he in the series even earlier than we thought? Watching and waiting for the right time to join the fight? Number 4. Voldo from Soul Calibur. Namco, why? Why did you make him? Voldo is the guard of the money pit for his master. Considering Voldo has lived his life in darkness in this money pit, he has learned to fight without his eyesight, leading to his unique battle stance. However, the fact that he fights you by crab walking and pelvic thrusting makes you want to stay away from him even more. His costume would also make you want to maybe stray away from him too. He sure loves wearing belts where they don't belong, along with many other items. Honestly though, when he covers himself up more, it actually gets a bit creepier. Like, what's with this gesture outfit? Why the moon and the sun? Go back to the tight lack of clothes, or maybe just something else. Alright. That. Number 3. Mileena from Mortal Kombat. But not just any Mileena. I'll get to that in a second. Mileena's razor-sharp teeth that formed from her mutation when being cloned with Princess Kitana's DNA have always been her main attraction. The cloning process even formed a few more imperfect clones that are probably the most unnecessary characters ever, but that's not for this video. While her concept is creepy, in Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, Mileena's face looks less frightening by today's standards. Mortal Kombat Gold didn't even have her reveal her face. Mortal Kombat 9's face certainly could jump right into your worst nightmares, but she's not my main focus here. She's pretty, right? And by Mortal Kombat X, she looked rather normal considering Mortal Kombat standards. However, Mortal Kombat Deception saw Mileena's most unsettling appearance to date, in my opinion. She looks rather normal with the mask on. Nice costume, until she removes that mask. Yes, we all know what to expect, but something seems to have gone wrong. Maybe all those years living as a clone caused her body, or more specifically her jaw, to deteriorate. There seems to be an issue with her jaw. It's just never closed as she stares at you with her almost blood-red eyes and snarls at you with her gravelly voice. She also taunts us, since we know her secret, by having that veil just see-through enough so we can get a peek at that sinister mouth. No thanks. I really like Mileena, but I'll stick to the more recent designs, thank you very much. Number 2. Double from Skullgirls, the most mysterious of the playable characters in this game. Double makes her opponent's skin crawl with her movements, attacks, and appearances. She can take the form of anyone, or anything. Whether it's a nun to deter others from detecting her true motives, or an elegant guest at a fancy gala to make you think none the wiser, and sometimes she can even be you. While it appears she can morph into anyone or anything she desires, gaining the special powers of her opponents seems to require a more excruciating method of eating her targets. Since she has no real form, when she is not disguising herself, she has the general shape of a human, or sometimes is just a mess of body parts. Of course, when all these body parts combine, they cannot look normal since Double is designed with the intent to disturb you. Number 1. Which character embodies fear the best, or at least is the most unsettling for a fighting game character? Well, that's hard to say because everyone has a different opinion, but here's mine. Number 1. Hisako from Killer Instinct. She has some of the key attributes of a creepy character. Let's go down the list, shall we? Ghostly skin. Check. Black eyeball with white irises. You got it. Hair partially obscuring her face? Is there any other kind? Body distortion? Of course. Anything else I should know about? Ooh, sharp teeth with some facial distortion. This is my type of woman, hey. While everything about Hisako sends chills down your spine, considering she is based off the Japanese folklore ghost seeking vengeance that can attack her enemies rather than just haunt them with her presence, her intentions are pretty clean. Generally, a creepy character has a vague motive or is backing some sort of unjust cause. However, Hisako is a spirit merely guarding the shrine honoring the fallen citizens of her village after she attempted to save them with her deceased father's naginata, with Hisako ultimately falling as well after taking on some of the intruders successfully. She's basically fighting you to say, "Get out of my house!" She's not trying to bother anyone, we can all respect that. Don't question why you can play as her on stages other than her home stage though, since I cannot explain that. She kind of just left that shrine she was supposed to be righteously guarding. Anyway, that's Hisako, my creepiest fighting game character. So, agree? Disagree? Did I leave off any creepy fighting game characters that send chills down your spine? Let me know. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.